You are not weak because you lack discipline. You are weak because you keep feeding the version of yourself that was built by other people and calling it identity. That distinction is the difference between the life you are living and the life you are capable of, not the gap between lazy and hard-working, not lucky and unlucky, the gap between the man who was shaped and the man who shapes himself. You were handed a self, a role, a script, a set of reactions so deeply embedded you mistake them for personality. And every morning you wake up and perform it again, not because you chose to, but because no one ever told you that you could stop. Niccolo Machiavelli did not believe in self-improvement. He believed in self-replacement. And there is a violence to that idea that the modern world has spent centuries trying to breed out of you. Everything they told you about becoming better is the exact reason you are staying the same. If you are not ready for that, close this now.
Go back to the crowd. Go back to the inspirational quotes and the morning routines and the productivity hacks. But if you want the truth, the kind that does not comfort you, but frees you, stay. Because what follows is not motivation, it is surgery. You were brainwashed to believe that identity is something you discover, that somewhere beneath the noise, beneath the bad habits and the fears, there is a true self waiting, authentic, whole, already formed. Schools taught it, therapists reinforced it. Every self-help book on the shelf is built on this single, quiet lie, that the work is to uncover who you already are. Machiavelli saw something different. He saw that identity is not found. It is constructed, deliberately, ruthlessly, by whoever understands the game best. In the absence of your own construction, someone else builds it for you. Your family, your culture, your fears, your failures. They lay the foundation without your permission, and you spend the rest of your life decorating a house you never designed. He wrote in The Prince, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Most people flinch at that line. They should, because it is not about cruelty. It is about control. And who holds it. When you need to be loved, you are controllable. When your peace depends on approval, you are owned. Robert Greene, in The 48 Laws of Power, built an entire architecture around this same truth. Power is not given, it is engineered. And the first thing it requires is that you stop performing for audiences that were never going to reward you anyway. I'm going to show you how to exit that structure. But understand, this is not healing. It is demolition. And demolition is loud and ugly. And most people stop when it gets uncomfortable. You will not stop, because you already know the alternative. Phase 1. Kill the script. The most dangerous prison has no bars. It is built from memory, from your own history, replayed so often it becomes the blueprint for every future move. You hesitate the same way. You quit the same way. You talk yourself out of things using the same words you always have. The average man calls this personality. The strategist calls it conditioning. And the distinction matters, because conditioning can be broken. Psychologist Ellen Langer's research on mindlessness shows that most human behavior is not decision-making at all. It is pattern execution. You are not choosing, you are repeating. And the repetition feels like choice because it is familiar. Julius Caesar understood the inverse. He rose not because he was the most talented man in Rome, but because he refused to be defined by where he started.
He crossed the Rubicon not out of impulse, but out of deliberate script destruction. He looked at the expected move and chose the opposite. Your move. Identify one automatic response this week. Anger when challenged. Silence when you should speak. Explanation when no one asked. The next time it rises, pause 3 seconds. Then choose something different. Anything different. You are not building a new habit yet. You are proving the old one was never you. What happens when you remove not just one pattern, but the entire foundation those patterns were built on? That is phase 2. Phase 2. Refuse the role. Every room you walk into has already decided who you are, not through malice, through pattern recognition. You were filed long ago. The quiet one, the reliable one, the one who does not push back. And because you kept showing up the same way, the file never got updated. The average man adapts to the category. He becomes what is easiest for others to hold. He tells himself this is social intelligence. It is social surrender.
Philip Zimbardo's Stanford prison experiment demonstrated that ordinary people adopt assigned roles with terrifying speed and totality. Guards became cruel. Prisoners became broken. Not because of who they were, but because of what the environment assigned them to be. The role, given permission, consumes the person. The Spartan agoge understood the inverse. It stripped boys of every comfortable role and forced them to reconstruct identity under deliberate adversity, ensuring whatever self emerged was one they had built under pressure, not one handed to them by comfort. Your move. Stop explaining yourself. Stop filling silence with words that apologize for your presence. A pause where there was once speed. Less where there was once more. The role people assign you survives on your cooperation. Withdraw the cooperation. Watch what happens to their certainty. You are still here. Good. The fragile ones already left. Phase 3. Sever the attachment to outcomes. Here is what gives other people leverage over you. You need something from the result. Approval, recognition, success as a signal of worth. The moment you are emotionally tethered to an outcome, you are no longer in control of your behavior. The outcome is. The 99% live here permanently. They need the deal to close. They need the recognition to come. And because they need it, their behavior becomes irrational. They push when they should pull. They speak when silence would serve. They accept conditions they should reject because the alternative feels like loss. John Bowlby's attachment theory maps this precisely. The anxiously attached individual is not present in the situation. He is perpetually calculating. Am I safe? Am I approved of? That calculation is expensive. It consumes the cognitive bandwidth you need for strategy. Marcus Aurelius, governing the most powerful empire in the world, trained himself to separate judgment from emotion. Not to kill feeling, but to prevent it from becoming the decision-maker. He called it the discipline of assent. Nothing external gets to determine your internal state without your permission. Your move. Name 3 things you currently need from external sources to feel stable. Then ask, what would your behavior look like if you needed none of them? That version is your target. Act from it before the detachment feels natural. The feeling follows the behavior, never the reverse. Comment below. I choose the cold path. Phase 4. Move in silence. The moment you announce your direction, you introduce interference. Opinions that cloud judgment. Expectations that pressure your timeline. Doubt disguised as concern.
Psychologist Peter Gollwitzer's research shows that when people announce goals and receive social acknowledgement, the brain partially registers the announcement as an accomplishment. The hunger to execute decreases. The announcement becomes the reward, and the behavior it was supposed to generate never fully materializes. Cosimo de' Medici built the most powerful banking empire in Renaissance Europe, not through loud displays of ambition, but through strategic opacity. He accumulated influence for decades before his rivals understood the game he was playing. By the time they did, it was too late to counter. He had not hidden out of weakness. He had moved in silence out of discipline. Your move. Whatever you are building right now, a skill, a plan, a shift, stop discussing it. Not because you are ashamed, because you are protecting it. Results speak with a force that no preview could produce. Let them be surprised. That surprise is the point. Phase 5. Think in systems, not events. The reactive man is always late. Something happens, he responds. Something fails, he scrambles. He is permanently dealing with the outputs of processes he has never examined. A system thinker asks a different question. Not what happened, but what structure produced this. Not what should I do about this, but what mechanism is generating this repeatedly. Find the mechanism, and you gain the ability to alter everything it produces simultaneously. Daniel Kahneman's distinction between System 1 and System 2 thinking maps this directly. System 1 is fast, automatic, reactive, event-based. System 2 is slow, deliberate, structural. Most people operate from System 1 indefinitely. The strategist forces System 2 engagement, especially when System 1 wants to react immediately. Napoleon Bonaparte managed information and access with ruthless precision at the height of his dominance. Not out of arrogance, but because he understood that a mind under constant interruption cannot form the long strategic thoughts that determine outcomes. Your move. The next time something goes wrong, resist the immediate fix. Ask instead, how many times has this category of outcome appeared before? What is the common element? The answer is not in the event. It is in the pattern beneath it. Phase 6. Become unreadable. Your expression is data. Every visible reaction, every shift in tone, it is information others use to calibrate how to move you. The man who reacts openly is the man who can be positioned. Once your emotional triggers are mapped, you can be guided without ever realizing it is happening. Joe Navarro, former FBI nonverbal intelligence expert, spent a career reading people through signals they did not know they were sending. His central finding: the body betrays before the mouth does. Most people are giving away that truth constantly, and most people around them are collecting it. The Spartan E4s were trained from youth to maintain neutral expression under all circumstances, not because they felt nothing, because visible emotion is a liability in any negotiation of power. The one who reacts is the one being read. The one who remains still is the one doing the reading. Your move. In your next high-stakes conversation, say 30% less than you planned. Hold eye contact 2 seconds longer than feels comfortable. Let silence exist without filling it. Watch the other person recalibrate. That shift is not accidental. It is physics. And now you are the one producing it. Now comes the part no one selling you transformation wants to say. This path is cold, not metaphorically, functionally. When you stop seeking approval, you stop receiving the warmth that was only ever conditional on your compliance.
When you break from your role, you lose the comfort of being understood. When you move in silence, you lose the feedback that used to tell you you were on track. You will feel alone in a way you were not prepared for. Not the loneliness of isolation, the loneliness of incompatibility. The version of you that is being built does not fit the rooms you used to occupy. Machiavelli himself wrote The Prince in exile, tortured, stripped of office, removed from every structure of power he had spent his life serving. He sat in that exile and produced the most clear-eyed analysis of power in Western history, not because conditions were favorable, but because he had nothing left to protect except his understanding. He did not need the crowd to validate what he knew. The crowd could not have tolerated it. This freedom is cold. It will cost you things that once felt essential, but it is the only freedom that cannot be revoked, because it does not live in any external condition.
It lives in the structure of your thinking, in the discipline of your expression, in the precision of your movement. That is yours, permanently. You made it here. That already separates you from the majority who clicked away when this stopped feeling comfortable. Subscribe, not because I asked. Subscribe because you are done being shaped by environments that were never designed for your benefit. What is said here publicly already goes further than most will allow. What is held back for those who commit goes further still. The old version of you is expensive. Every day you maintain it, it costs you something you cannot yet name, but will recognize the moment it is finally gone. End it. Not gradually, not when you feel ready. Now. Because average does not wait for your permission to continue. It moves the moment you hesitate. Stop hesitating.